Great is thy faithfulness, O Lord. Great is thy faithfulness. Creativity without compassion is wickedness. Wisdom without compassion is ruthless. And compassion without wisdom is foolishness. Thank you for joining me on the Our Platform. This is the Our Platform. My name is Yewande, and on this table, we learn, we grow, we become, and we win. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about compassion. Compassion. So in the last video, we stopped on the power of creativity and the contribution of creativity to success in life. We concluded that creativity comes from your curiosity, the question that you ask. And we said that for you to be creative, you have to question the system, you question the structure, you question the process, you question the environment, and you question the time within the process. And even in birthing your creativity, there are certain things that you have to embrace. The first thing you embrace is your crazy self, your weirdo. You have to embrace your intersectionality. That brings in your uniqueness. And in that video, we concluded that you also have to embrace your community, your relationship, because that your creative idea fits into a bigger picture. So when I said embrace your weirdo, I want you to know that also embrace your compassion. Because a compassionate business has social responsibility. A compassionate ministry is humble in its delivery. A compassionate brand is a vibe. And a compassionate person shows mercy. When we talk about compassion, there are several things that comes to mind. Compassion is soft. Compassion is compelling. Compassion is full of passion, because you cannot define compassion without talking about passion. And passion is bettered in our emotion, which means there is some part of your emotion that has to be involved when you want to show compassion. And compassion is bettered in your empathy, because there is this aspect of you that puts yourself in other people's situation, and you look at that situation and you want to help. Compassion means you step in to help. So compassion means kindness that sees other people and want to help them in their predicament or in their situation. So compassion means you look at the situation that other people are going through and you want to step in to help them. Compassion is the oil of gladness. The oil of gladness that grows our community and makes us human. And that is why empathy is very crucial when it comes to compassion. So there are some aspects of compassion that we confuse with kindness. So kindness is on one side. Kindness is being human and in being practical in every sense. But you don't necessarily have to be empathic or empathetic to show kindness. There is a difference between kindness and compassion, because you don't have to be empathetic to show kindness. For you to open the door for somebody else, or smile at somebody else, or pick up a grocery bag that dropped on the floor for somebody else, you don't necessarily have to be empathic. But for you to show compassion, first, you have to first see yourself in that situation, that if I am in this situation, what would I have to do? And that is why compassion pushes us to the deep core of our human. That is why compassion makes us to bring out all that we have to help somebody out of their predicaments. Because kindness means that you are helping somebody but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are in a very difficult situation. When you show kindness to people, it doesn't mean that they are in a difficult situation, but you show kindness to them because you are just being a practical human being. But when you show compassion to people, you put yourself in their situation and you wonder what you want others to do for you if you were in their situation. And that is when you show your compassion. Because compassion is full of passion. Compassion is passion that communicates to other human beings. Compassion is passion that is confident in the quality and in the humanity of human being. Compassion is that confidence that we all human need help. Compassion is that belief that we all can be helpful in one way or the other. Compassion is bettered in empathy. And in this video today, I want to start with self-compassion. Because the first person you want to show compassion to is your own self. You see, sometimes we are showing compassion to the others. We're spending our money, we're spending our time, we're spending our tongue, we're spending our feet, we're spending our energy, we're spending our passion, we're spending our finances on situation and on causes, on other human to help them become better. But we are giving up a whole lot that is affecting us in a very negative way. Compassion starts with you. Your self-compassion is very, very important. You want to forgive yourself. You want to embrace your own self. You want to forgive your own self and give yourself some room for growth. Because without self-compassion, there is no room for growth. Without self-compassion, there's no room for self-belief. Without self-compassion, shame overrides that life. Without self-compassion, insecurity is on a shopping spree. The first person that you want to show compassion to is to yourself. And the first way you show compassion to yourself is in the way you talk about yourself. Your self-talk. When you are talking to yourself in your mind, you want to show compassion in the way you refer to yourself, in the way you talk about yourself. When you are talking about self-compassion means you know your boundary, you know what you need, and you know what you need to keep before you start giving out everything. Yes, compassion sometimes means you have to give up some of your finances, give up some of your money, give up some of your time. But does that mean that you give up all of your time, that you don't have time to spend on yourself? Does that mean that you give up all of your time, that you don't have some time to rest? Does that mean that you give up all of your time, that you don't have time to spend time on what you love? Does that mean that you give up all of your truths in the process of being authentic, that you are overly transparent? No. Compassion means that you reserve something for yourself. That's not being selfish. That's not being greedy. That's not being complacent. You remember in the video when we were talking about contentment, we said that contentment is in the middle ground. That on one spectrum, you have greed. Greed wants it all for itself to benefit itself. Complacency means you don't want it because you don't want to benefit others. Contentment means you are contented with who you are. You know what you have, and you know what you can give, and you know what you need to keep. Talking about self-compassion, a story that comes to my mind is the story in Matthew 25, talking about those 5 virgins. I'm talking about the 10 virgin story now from Matthew 25. You know, when this story dropped in my mind, I said, what is self-compassion? What is the self-compassion lesson about the story in the 10 virgins? In Matthew 25, we saw that these 5 wise virgins, the 5 wise virgins, all the 10 of them were waiting. They were on a journey, just like you and I, on a journey. They are all human. Because at some point, when the bridegroom didn't come, all of them slept. They are all human, all of them slept, because all of them are tired. And when they all heard the whistle that the bridegroom was here, they all grabbed their lamp. But the 5 wise virgins, they had extra. They had extra oil. But the foolish virgin, they didn't have any extra oil. They only had enough oil for their own lamp. I'm going somewhere. Greed, complacency, contentment. Because compassion works on contentment. Compassion means you know what you need, you know when it is enough, and you know what to give. The 5 foolish virgins approached the wise virgins, and they said, can you spare us some? Can you spare us some? We don't have enough in our lamp. But the wise answered, no. I want you to be paying attention to the language of the 5 wise virgins. The wise answered, no. Let it not be that it will not be enough for both of us. But go rather to them that sell and buy for yourself. There are 3 languages that I want to pull out for this in your own self-compassion. The first language, which is a complete sentence, is no. In your self-compassion, you are going to say no to several things. You are going to say no to several people. You are going to say no to several processes. You are going to say no to several systems. You are going to say no to several structures, because in your self-compassion, you want to show yourself some kindness. You are going to say no to those things that take away so much of your time that you don't have time to spend with yourself, that you don't have time to spend with what you value. You are going to say no to those investments that takes all of your finances, but there is no reward coming out of it. You're going to say no to those investments that you have been pouring money into, but there is no profit. Yes, you have to show yourself some self-compassion. This is November. It's almost the end of the year. You have shown compassion to others. You have emptied your account for others. You have emptied your account of grace, of mercy, of finance, of money, of time for others. You want to reevaluate and know where you have missed it. Because now you are tired and broke and angry. Because those that you have emptied your account for are not even commensurate, they are not even rewarding you according to what you have done. And now you have to show yourself some self-compassion. Self-compassion means you are going to say no to so many things. So many things that take away your time. So many things that take away your values. So many things that take away your confidence. So many things that take away your grace. So many things that take away your values and your security. The 5 wise virgins, all of them were in sync. So there is wisdom in what they said. Remember what I started with? I said, compassion without wisdom is foolishness. When you are showing compassion to people and you are not adding wisdom to it, you are going to hurt yourself. You want to be kind to yourself. You want to be careful in the way you spend your time and in the way you spend your tongue and in the way you spend your talent and in the way you spend your time. The way these 5 wise virgins responded shows some self-compassion. They said no. That's the first thing that I'm picking from this story. And then, so that it will not be enough. The 5 wise virgins, they said, so that it will not be enough. Know when you have had enough. Know when you have had enough. You have been saying that thing over and over. You have been repeating it and there is no change. Know when you have said enough. Know when you have said enough. Know when you have given enough. Know when you have shared enough. Know when you have spoken enough. That you are authentic doesn't mean that you have to be transparent. Authenticity doesn't mean that you are overly transparent. You can be authentic without being transparent. I can tell you where I live, but I don't have to tell you my address. Telling you that I live in the city, in the state of Minnesota, is being authentic. It is knowing there it's cold now. That is my authentic truth. But telling you my physical address or the school where my kids go to is overly being transparent. You are oversharing. Know when you are oversharing. The 5 wise virgins said, so that it will not be enough for both of us. Because if I share this that I have, both of us are going to be in the same situation. Both of us are going to miss our journey. Both of us are going to miss meeting the bridegroom. The wise virgin knows what is enough for them to keep and what is enough for them to give. Because when you are giving and you are giving out of your you are giving and you are giving it out of your struggle, then you are not giving it in a way that you are going to get the reward and the blessing that comes from that giving. Giving has to be cheerful. It has to be joyful. It has to be coming from your heart. Remember what I said about compassion. Compassion is bettered in passion. Caring about others. Because a compassionate business will create a good. A compassionate human will be a blessing. And a compassionate ministry shows humility. The third language I saw in this Matthew 25 from these 5 wise virgins is that they said, go and buy. In your process of showing self-compassion to others, you can point them to where to get what they need. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go with them. You can point them to where they need to go on the journey. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to go with them. The 5 wise virgins didn't have to go with the foolish ones. They pointed them to where to get. They shared where they could get the resources that they need, but they didn't go with them. Because self-compassion means that you are not going to be unassuming of yourself. Self-compassion means that you are going to be polite, not only to others, but also to yourself. Self-compassion means that you are going to value others and you are going to value yourself. Don't be unassuming. In your self-compassion, don't be naive. Don't be naive. Don't say, oh, I love people. I want to share. And then you empty all of yourself, that there is nothing left for you. Don't say, I'm forgiven, that you forgive so much that you now end up in a deep, deep pain. That was what happened to Tamar in that 2 Samuel. That 2 Samuel 13. Tamar, one of the daughters of David. Tamar was a beautiful woman. And the brother asked her to come because the brother was just lusting after her. And the brother said, I don't want to wait or ask my father to marry her to me, because in that age, people could marry their siblings. It's odd today, but in that age, you could do that. But the brother was not going to wait for that. And what did he do? He pretended to be sick. People can pretend, but don't be naive. People can change. And when people change, don't expect the relationship to continue to be the way it was in the past. Don't be naive. When people close the door on you or on that relationship, help them to put a lock at the back. Don't be banging on the door of relationship when it closes on you. Don't be naive. Tamar was naive. She thought she was helping a brother. The brother was pretending to be sick. But in the process, Tamar was hurt. When it comes to self-compassion, I want you to remember that you want to make sure that you are not naive. You are not showing compassion to the extent that you are putting your own life on the line, that you are putting your own safety on the line. Tamar was raped in the process of showing compassion to another person. In the process of showing compassion to another person, you want to first think, what is right in this situation? Does this feel right to me? What should be the appropriate way of approaching this situation? Tamar was raped. The first compassion that you want to show is to show compassion to yourself. You want to give grace to yourself. And then the first thing that I say is that don't be self-assuming. Don't be unassuming. Don't be naive. And the third aspect is that don't overshare. Don't overshare. In your process of self-compassion, we saw from the 5 wise virgins, they did not overshare. They said, so that this will not be enough for both of us, go and buy. Don't overshare. Don't overshare your time. Don't overshare your talent. Don't overshare your resources. Don't overshare that you don't overshare to the extent that you don't have anything left for your own self. Don't overshare your own information. That was what we saw with the story of the young prophet and the older prophets. I think the story is coming from 2 Kings. When the young prophet was sent to deliver a message, and he was asked, as soon as he finished delivering the message, he should get out of the city. And when he left the city after delivering the message was powerfully received, but on his way, he was resting. And the older prophet met him. And what happened at the end of that story was sad, because the young prophet lost his life. He overshared. He overshared information. He overshared. Don't be so compassionate that you overshare. Don't be so compassionate that you are overly humble. Don't be so compassionate that you are naive. When the vibe in the relationship change along with it. Don't say, oh, she was there for me. Oh, he was there for me. I have to be there for her. Or I have to be there for him. But now you are hurt. You are hurt. For the young prophet, he lost his life in the process. I'm focusing more on self-compassion because it is important. As we are approaching the year 2024, you want to show yourself some self-compassion. Know when to rest. Know when you have given enough in the relationship. Know when you are given enough in terms of your talent. Know when you have given enough in terms of your time. And know when to save some for yourself. Just like the 5 wise virgins. Let me quickly talk about compassion when it comes to our community. So I started with self-compassion, and let's talk about community compassion. And the story that I'm going to use to highlight this is the story of the Samaritan in Luke 10:29 to 37. The story of the Good Samaritan. The Bible even called him the Good Samaritan in that Luke 10:29-37. And the Bible tells us about this story because it was not even a parable. This was an actual story. The Bible made us understand that a certain man, we don't know the identity of the man. He was traveling, he was robbed, people bruised him. Because sometimes your creativity takes you to a spectrum where you become wicked. The same creative power that creates a good is the same creative power that can create something bad. The same creativity that comes upon a human being that makes them come with a good product that is beneficial to the community is the same creative power that comes upon some certain human being and makes them come up with service that hurts the community, because the foundation of your creativity matters. When I'm saying be creative, embrace your weirdo, embrace your passion, embrace your intersectionality, embrace your community, please embrace your compassion. In the process of that, your creativity, make sure whatever service or goods or action you are discharging is impacting people positively. Is impacting your community positively. Because there are certain information that people have sent out that have hurt the community rather than make the community better. And we see in this story some thieves, because their own service is creating hurt to another human being. We saw that this man was hurt and they left him. They wounded him. And then a Levite came, left the man. And another priest came, left the man. And a certain Samaritan. I want you to remember, we started the story with a certain man and then a certain Samaritan coming to help. Coming to help. It was a certain man traveling and a certain Samaritan coming to help. And when Samaritan saw the man, he went to him because he was empathic. Bound the wound. Pour oil on the wound. Comforted the man. Make sure he's stable. Brought him to the hospital. Took care of him. Paid some money. Came back to check on him. Dropped some money. Followed through. And make sure that the whole journey had a positive impact on the certain man. When it comes to compassion to your community, there are certain currency that you are going to spend. There are certain things that you are going to do. The first thing that we're going to do as people is that we are going to be feet movers. We're going to be moving in the direction that benefits the life of others. Compassionate people are feet movers. They don't just stay there and watch the people in their predicament. They know when to jump in and take those people to where they will get the help that they need. They move their feet.